Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is on the mini bike. We finally got parts in and we're going to try to restore this little thing. So hope you enjoy this episode. We're going to go through it fairly thoroughly in case any of you are wanting to try and create something by yourself or fix up an old one if you happen to trip across it. The theory is pretty much the same across the board. So anyways, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope we give you some information that you can use, as well as you get to see this little thing back up and running. We're definitely going to be having some fun with it. It's small enough I can toss it in the back of Moose and take it with me. I know Frankie's just itching to get to drive it too, so I told him he gets to help build it so he can use it, and we'll get this thing put together. And of course, Swamp Buggy is getting used for a table. Anyway, things we have a 5-horse engine over here. All right, that I already had. Honda. That's off of a pressure washer I got. Was working, was running. Well, I got it running, but then it sat. The carburetor clogged up. I took the carburetor out and misplaced the carburetor. So hopefully, in this box that just came in today, thanks to good old Amazon, we have another carburetor. We also have in there a clutch brake or band brake. That is for our brand new clutch. And we got some nice new chain in here too. So other than that, that's all we had to really purchase for this round. I do need a new tube for the front tire, but because I'm switching this up and these brakes are actually going to go to the band brake instead of the old school front brake tire that used to be. That gives me some more room in here. We may change this up and put a wheelbarrow tire in there to give us more room. I don't need a high-speed bearing. This thing, because of the gear ratio, if it hits 50, I'm going to be surprised. Now, I changed the gear ratio. I know the last one I built, one of these hit over 95 kilometers an hour. So that's moving pretty good, but a little crazy too. So because Frankie's going to be on it, I want it for exploring. I don't need it to rip that much. So this tire's got to come off and switch around. Now this tire originally came with this sprocket. It is actually parted out off of a powered trailer mover. So this went to like a chain that went to a planetary gear on this little electric thing that you could drive around and move like boats and all kinds of stuff with. So this one already had it. You can get a makeup like this from shops for go-karts. So one wheel the rim is actually designed to bolt right into a sprocket. Sprockets, again, you can get them, change up your sizes, whatever you want. Usually you can get those things here in Canada. I get them from Princess Auto. In the States, I've seen lots of guys talking about Harbor Freight, so probably the best place for that kind of stuff. But if I wanted to change it up, I just unbolt this, bolt on one that comes out way closer to the edge of the tire here, and this thing would just fly. Actually, no. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Actually, I think I am wrong on that. It'd have more torque. Shit, this may go faster than it used to. Oh. Yeah, my thinking from small to small is faster. Big to small is super fast. Yeah. Yeah, because of the size of the sprite, this might go faster than it used to. Uh-oh. Alrighty. Anyways, we'll see what happens with that. We might be changing this for that reason. Anyways, as you can see, this is on here. It actually needs to be on this side, so we're going to pull this apart. What this whole bike was built out of is a kid's scooter. This is just a kid's air-filled 12-inch scooter. All the way down, scooter, scooter, scooter. Original scooter pad, scooter, oops, chopped it off. Made myself a U, and bolted in a rear end. This thing has been jumped, it has been tossed around, it has sat, it has been back out, it's been used on and off for 15 years, and it's still holding up. Very simple. Just built a 2 good sized plate, 1-inch square tubing, and away we went. Nice and simple. Then I built a post. Originally, I had put this spring in it, trying to get a little bit of cushion because there's no suspension. But found it was causing us problems, so I ended up welding it here where it used to pivot. It did actually pivot through here. I just fish mouthed the tube, put it in. But seat part, again, it's just a straight beam and a beam down. Simple. No real complications or anything else to it, just nice and simple. This is our mounts for, I think our exhaust went through this one and hung off because we actually had a little exhaust off of a mini bike, little offshore mini bike off the original motor. So what we're going to do now, this has the twist throttle as well. Cable's a little tight, so we're going to oil that up. We're going to move this handle, which was the brakes. We're going to move it over here. So brakes are here. Reason I didn't have the brakes here is because this was front brake. I didn't have a rear brake as such. I had a scrub brake that didn't work. I didn't want to hit the brakes and still have the gas on and go over it. So what I did was I put them here, so I had to let off the throttle to be able to pull the brake. Now it doesn't matter because this is going to go to the clutch brake, which is on the motor, so I can move it over and make it one hand's the gas, the other hand's brake. Nice and simple. As you can see, at one point there was a mechanism here. We had a step brake here, and we tried to make that work towards the back. Tried it on scrub brakes. We've had about 3 different brake ideas on here. I'll be honest, none of them worked that great. The front brake did most of the work. So this is our new toy. This is a band brake. This drops over that. And then when you pull, it clamps, and that's actual brake material, around this. And I've made these from scratch. I'll tell you how you can do that too. By this time, this one wasn't very expensive, so I figured, okay, I'll buy it. But the same concept. Basically, you need a nide end, a fixed end, and then you need another end. Now, there's 2 ways of doing it. You can have a fixed end at this side, and then something that goes through and pulls this strap. Or you can have something that bypasses over it and pulls. Basically, however you do it, you want it to tighten together. And when it tightens, then that's what clamps it on this. Because you're clamping it at the drive source, it stops dead. I had it on one of my little buggies that I had, that little red tube frame one that's in the shown in the first episode and the budget builds, and that had this on it, and at 50 kilometers an hour I literally locked the rear tires up completely, just feather touching the brakes. Like it really works well. This is hopefully our carburetor. Hopefully. Okay, so inventory. Brand new sprocket, new brake, new chain, new breather, new carburetor. Supposed to be the right one for this motor. Then we'll take it and get it mounted in here. And you see, I already got holes in there anyway, so it should have the same footprint as the 6.5 did. I believe I already checked that. So it should just bolt right back in. and then we swap the tire around. In here are a bunch of different spacers on each side to make up the gap, so I can align the chain wherever I need. If I need to offset the tire a little, I can, just by playing with the spacers. So we'll get this carburetor out and get them mounted in. Oh, nice. Even a new fuel line. That's good. All right. All of this here was, I think it was $80 plus taxes. No shipping, because it was all through Amazon. So, you know, nice part of being able to get stuff. You might get it from Amazon or Harbor Freight or Princess Auto. The reason I got it all in one stop because it was I was able to get the carburetor, and that's what I was after. So the rest of the stuff was like, hell, I'm shopping there, I might as well check, and it was all a good price. So saved me having to run around.
What's the whole battery?
All right, so this is the pin that's in it. We need to knock it out because the clutch has one built into it right in here. So there's one in there. So we need to get this out of here. So it's rusted in there pretty good. Hopefully, tapping it back, it'll come out. Yeah, there we go. That wasn't hard at all. So that's your pin. But this has one built into it. So now this can go on. Line it up the right spot. Come on. It's over that way. There, come on. Oh, that's going to be interesting. That's the right size. Oh, no. Oh, I think we got some damage here. I'm going to have to clean that up a little bit because this needs to drop in there. It's not quite doing it. Should hit right there. It's in the right spot, just not going in. I don't really want to hit this. As much as it'd be nice to, you know, knock it on there and know it's nice and tight and not have to worry about the bolt, I think we're still going to err to caution and try to clean that up so it slips on a little bit. Okay, so we'll have to clean that up a little bit with a file and see what happens. That's that part. Then we have to take and put the carburetor back into here. We got that plate, this plate goes in here, then the carburetor, then the breather. Kit we got came with a brand new breather, some new gaskets, and the new carburetor. So, the only thing these kits don't come with, they do not come with the bolts. So you've got to have the original bolts. We were in a bit of a panic trying to find them, but we did. There we go. So we got to get that on here in the right way, in between everything else, and away we go. And as you see, we already have, that's our choke lever right there. It hooks into that, and then away we go. Oh yeah, we got the fuel pump fuel line here. So we'll replace that because it's a little bit rough. So we'll replace that line right here. So this here is a fuel pump. This works off the vacuum off the motor, and it's a little fuel pump. So it actually pumps the fuel in. So the nice part with this is even if you're going uphill, it's not gravity. It's actually got a little fuel pump. And the pump, the diaphragm and the pump from this goes like that, and it pumps the fuel. Hopefully that hasn't seized up on us. We'll see. There we go. Good thing we got a new filter. There's bolts. Yeah, these guys come in from here. Actually, come in from here. Do that. Going through that. So this goes in here. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff. There we go. Okay, new fuel line is hooked up. Vent line's hooked up into the breather. Pump line's hooked back up again. New carburetor. Choke's hooked up. Throttle is not yet. We have to figure out how we're going to make that hook onto that. But that's really usually not that hard. If anything, we bend this up a bit, cut this off, put it through it, and put a stopper on it so that it pulls it. Usually not too complicated. And then we make a seat here for it to pull from, somewhere over here. That's minor. That's actually very, very minor, believe it or not. The governor, in this case, we're not using it because we want to be able to like snake this thing out and haul ass. On our brakes, there's our clutch on. I just had to wiggle and jiggle and then it finally went on. So it's now on. So we got to get a screw for the end here, just to keep her so it can't decide to come off. This is the clutch brake. It goes on like so. And then I have to build a bracket, a mounting bracket for it. I've got a threaded bolt here. I've got an open hole here. So I need to build something that comes up off of this that holds it. And then the cable passes through and causes it to squeeze. So we'll get that one worked out. Sometimes people put a lever. In our case, it'll just be a brake cable. And it doesn't take much. Now, as I said, if you don't want to buy one of these or you can't find one online, an easy way to make one of these, you do have to replace the material every once in a while. But a really easy way to make one of these is grab some of this. Yep. Just a roll of that stuff. This and a bicycle tire. Take an old tire, cut it, and then you take that and you bolt it inside this. Make sure it wraps at least 3/4 of your circumference. Okay? And then your straps come up past. So when your strap's up past, you take a bolt through your rubber, through the strap on either end, then you wrap it around. Again, you make a mount for the one end. So you wrap it around, you make a mount for the one end, and then you have the other end pull close on it. So I've done it two ways. I've done it one way where I put a stopper on this, and this went through and into the other, so that when I pulled it worked to the same concept as this does. So it pulled itself together. And that's all I did. With a bike tire, it would stop three-wheeler I made, stop both those 14-inch tires dead. No problem. This one here has actually got the actual brake material in it. It will last a whole lot longer, but sometimes they're not available. That's what happened. I was trying to get them. They were out of stock and not being available for something like 8 months. I wasn't about to wait that long, so I designed my own. Hey, guys, that's all we've got for today. I had to run out and do some errands, so we haven't got any more work done as such on the bike. I do have a snippet at the end of this to show you how things are going, though. So hit that like, the bell button so you don't miss the new content. Subscribe, please and thank you. And we'll be back at it with the bike. We had a problem with the Outlander and the Mitsubishi, so we've got a little mini vid coming up to show what happened with that and how we fixed it, as well as other new content with the rest of the buggies, stuff like that. We're getting some work done on the swamp buggy, finally getting that figured out. So lots of content to come. Thanks for watching. We have a snippet at the end of this as well. Shows you what's coming up on our next video. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. See you next video.